What's the weirdest compliment you've ever been given? In 7th grade, I wore a fanny pack to school to hold stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I played with at lunch. Once while walking down the hallway, an 8th grader I never met before was like, "Dude, I like your fanny pack," gave me a high five, and kept walking. I never saw him again, and miraculously nobody ever picked on me about it, to my face at least. I had pink eye and the nurse was looking into the non-infected eye. "You have beautiful retinas. Thank you." That I'm like a piece of furniture. Don't do much, but you notice when I'm not there. My 4-year-old son told me I smelled like music. When I asked what kind of music, he said music you dance to. Still the best compliment I have received to date. Lots of people asking if he may have synesthesia. I thought that as well. However, he's 9 now, and we've had no other incidences. I asked him just now if he ever tastes shapes or hears numbers etc, and he looked at me like I had 7 heads. My friends and I were talking about what kind of potatoes we'd be. One of my best friends told me you'd be a loaded baked potato. People pay extra for that good speep. A woman I was talking to in my dad's shop thought I was not me but my sister. When I tried to correct her that I'm me, she told me, "No, you are not. Insta, my name is fat and has short hair. She is not beautiful like you." Like, WTF lady. That I've the most beautiful eyebrows. Were even asking if I pluck them or what routine I had. BTW. I'm a guy, but NGL. I felt fabulous days after. You look comfortable. Not as in I look relaxed. She meant I looked comfortable to rest. Lean or lay on. At first I asked if she was politely saying I was fat. She explained that I had a look about me of being someone who would comfortable to cuddle with and not hog space or covers. I took it as a compliment. I hope it was. This was a stranger I was having a conversation with during the morning train commute maybe 3 years ago. Came from out of the blue, as well. You are so tan. How did you get so tan? I'm Indian. I'm Indian. Alright then. Keep your secrets. A coworker once told me that I was a cross between Han Solo and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew from the Muppets. This was in 1998, and I still can't stop thinking about it. Was that supposed to be a compliment? An insult? The worst part is that he was pretty accurate, actually. Not gonna lie, if someone told me I looked like a cross between Han Solo and Dr. Honeydew, I'd be so proud. A teacher in high school told me several times that I had a perfectly shaped head. A couple with a newborn daughter asked me how my parents set me down to sleep when I was a baby. They wanted to know how my head could be shaped so perfectly. The pizza who pierced my ears back in August told me my ears were perfect and to call her if anyone said otherwise, and she would fight them for me. I bet she says that to all the ears. During an internal ultrasound I once got told I have beautiful fallopian tubes. I've been riding that high for years. During pelvic floor PT they have the ultrasound on, so you can see that you're doing the exercises correctly. When you do it correctly your cervix curls up a bit and looks like it's smiling. My PT said, "Look at that happy little cervix." Now whenever I do my kegels, I picture my smiling little cervix. With the right makeup you'd make a really good looking girl. I'm a guy BTW. You could be a part-time model. Spending part of your time modeling and part of your time next to me. You look like you're good with your elbows. Said by a 50-year-old man biking by. He then swung back around telling me I should try out for the local roller derby team. Wow, you're stronger than my dad. My GF. The first time I picked her up. Someone told me my eyes were upside down. Not sure what that means, or if was even a compliment. They seemed friendly. Your freckles are so PP. They remind me of my sister. When I went to the doctor they were training a nurse. They were about to draw my blood and the older one poked at my veins. She said I had nice bouncy veins. So they're easy to see and draw blood from. You remind me of a swan. Large, white and a psychopathic attitude. 50% chance it'll either attack you or try to peep you. So, just like my ex, after we broke up. Likes to eat stale bread and sleeps on the grass. You'd look great in an off-shoulder dress. I'm a guy, but if I ever want to start wearing dresses, I know I'll choose off-shoulder ones. I work retail and was told this by a customer. You're so nice. You must have been bullied in high school. Because people asked, I was in fact bullied in high school. I'm in college now, and since it's online the only people bullying me is my family. Random stranger while I was on a run. Nice neck. I'm not saying I believe in vampires, but I made sure my windows were all locked that night. It took me a couple decades to realize guys like you are the best. Thanks, Gran. From a teacher. You're like a barbed wire fence. Maybe something gets past you, but it leaves tattered pieces behind. I'm not very attentive, but somehow I manage to pick up info I need and use it appropriately. One evening about 12 years ago I was on a bus headed down to the financial district in Nick. I can't remember why we were on a bus instead of taking the subway, as I rarely took buses over the subway. Anyway, there wasn't many people in the bus, and every passenger was able to sit in a seat. Directly across from where I was sitting was an elderly Asian woman. She sat there smiling at me for a couple minutes. I wasn't sure if she was smiling at me or just in my direction, so I just smiled back at her. When we reached her stop, she came up to me and said, "You are even more beautiful than Meryl Streep." I was so flattered but also tickled. Meryl Streep is a good 35 years older than me. I never thought of her as a beautiful woman, but that didn't matter because someone did. And they thought I was beautiful too. You look ominous. The mailman said to me while I sat on the curb reading Time magazine waiting outside my apartment for the mail to arrive. I went to my 25th high school reunion and a woman I knew then didn't recognize me. When I told her my name she said, "Oh my gosh, you're so handsome now." Got him. That happened to me too. The most popular girl in my class, she took a good long look and said, "Pastor, is that you?" But not in a bitchy way. More in a dumb way. We ended up having a really cool convo. You know the definition of the word wholesome? You are my new definition for that. Something along those lines. Kinda of weird, but man did it feel good to get it. I couldn't stop smiling. You speak very good English. From a native English speaker to me. I'm from Connecticut. I better speak English well. I, an 18Y/O male at the time, was catcalled while walking up the street. The assailant screamed, "You have very good posture here. Lol." Some random cute girl in town told me I was a boomting while I was waiting at the bus stop after school. I assumed it was an insult at the time. It was only days later that I discovered that she was calling me hot. You finally look like a human being. It happens every time I get a haircut, lol. It was a crowd Australia Day celebration in the city. Speep was getting a bit out of control and everyone had way too much to drink. I tried to walk quietly by a bunch of fairly aggressive troublemakers without attracting attention. One of them shouts out, "Hey everyone, look at that guy. He looks awesome. I want my children to look like him." Peeping, everyone stops and looks at me. Some people nod and go, "Yeah." An old lady once told me she wishes she was 60 years younger. Then she would give me some confidence. It was the most unsettling, funniest, and somehow most charming compliment I've ever received. Context: I'm a pretty skinny guy. No, you're very broad. Girls like that, they're gonna look at you and say, "Now that is a jungle gym, and I just want to climb all over." Your eyes alone are worth 2,000 camels for your hand in marriage. Vacation to Egypt. Maybe not the weirdest, but definitely the one most out of left field. I was walking down the street minding my own business and this guy sitting on the corner looks at me and goes, "Everybody get a load of Antonio Banderas over here." Haha, how's it going, Antonio? I only maybe kinda looked like Antonio Banderas, but he's a handsome dude, so I always took it as a compliment. Nice lips. Cupcake. You have great earlobes. If there are any single ladies who are into that, hit me up. Your pence is harder than old chicken. If a girl told me this, I'd really start doubting if that's a compliment or insult. I'd take it as a compliment. You look like an anime character. Wow. Thanks. That's a great compliment. Yeah. Like that show Hellsing. With all the vampires. Wow, you're really grown up from my aunt. When I was 36 yo. Every time I see her, my gynecologist always says you have such a cute little cervix. I've had a BF blushingly tell me I have a really cute butthole. Don't make it weird. So I got that going for me. You're so PP. You reminded me of my mum. You looked gay today by one of my great nan's friends. She had meant happy, but it made me laugh so hard I choked on my drink. Thought she had excellent gaydar. Turns out she just thought I looked happy. Reminds me of when I was 13 and going on a river trip with family friends. The mother asked if I packed thongs. I was like, what now? She meant flip-flops. That would definitely be the girl who said to me, "You're not gross to look at." I married her best friend. One of my first days at a new job, I hear a coworker telling another coworker, I mean this as a compliment, "You slash the Ralgangosla looks like she collects dead animals in jars." Still my favorite compliment. I'm petite, so there was one time somebody told me that I must be easy to maneuver. Not sure if that is a compliment. Run. I got told I have PP legs by a married gay woman. I'm a bloke. Your leg looks PP. A drunk woman at the bar was all over me. She was especially entranced by my elbows. She said I had really strong elbows and they were so PP. She eventually asked if she could lick them. Well, weird, I allowed her pre-covered people, don't worry. It wasn't really a weird compliment. Just a really weird delivery. This girl came up to me and told me to look straight forward, stared into one of my eyes for like 2 minutes and said nice. She was just judging your very soul. No worries. Your butt is really toned. Like buns of steel, bro. That was from my older cousin a few years ago when she randomly slapped my ass thinking I was her boyfriend walking out of the kitchen. Still kinda creeps me out. She did apologize after she realized her mistake, but her compliment right after made it way weirder. My sister's friend told me I had the sense of humor of an old man on his deathbed who was upset because he couldn't find his ex-wife to tell her to FCK off one last time. I didn't realize he was referencing Ron Swanson. I've seen Parks and Rec, but it was years ago, so I forgot about it. You look like a Miai. That's so cute. Why are you so tall? I'm an average height person. But why? I've been told that I have exceptionally smooth balls. Like 2 hard-boiled eggs in a balloon full of downy fabric softener. Gee, thanks doc. But anyway, you were checking for lumps, right? Fellas, is it gay to compliment a patient's balls? Not if you say no homo after. This tastes weird. No homo though. Is that right? You must be Australian cause that bikini ain't hiding that bushfire. You smell like watermelon. My girlfriend said that the first thing she noticed about me were my hands. That was 4 years ago, and she still reminds me to this day how much she liked them. I guess being a guitarist with pianist hands has its perks. Drunkenly met a guy at a bar. He leaned over, smelled my hair, and with excitement in his eyes, told me you smell like a Swedish meadow. On the third date he told me you got some wood chopping shoulders. Like damn girl, if it's the dead of winter, and wood needs to be chopped, I'm calling you. We've now been dating over a year and a half. Someone told me that they liked talking to me because I made them use their whole brain. I dunno. It's weird, but it was nice to hear. What do you mean by that? The stuff you say is so stupid I have to think really hard about what it means. Oh. You must have been invited to this conference because you're so pretty. At a particle physics conference organized by my alma mater which invited a few alumni, said to me by a physics Nobel laureate. Thanks dude. Stay classy. That I sound like an attractive dying goat. Edit. Thanks for the reward, I have never got one.